Usually I struggle to somehow plug the other channel, examining Kubrick, with other topics. Not this time. There are a lot of Kubrickian moments, even Denim V moments in this episode. So it's quite a few treats. So what do we get? Well, we get Captain America and a Hulk character and so much more. So a lot to love. Nightcrawler is very prominent. Rogue is very prominent. Has incredible action, some nice character beats, but I gotta say it that what they've done with Gyrick was pretty disappointing. I really like Gyrick. He is not an ordinary villain. He's really more like a Jason Bourne villain, more like a James Bond villain. And although he's pretty evil, I don't know, you always respect the guy. I mean, there's just that scene in the first season of the first series where he is literally facing all the X-Men and he doesn't panic. He does call for help, but he pulls out a gun and says, "Yeah, I'm going to take about 7 X-Men down with me." So there's a lot to admire there. So they just keep using him as a very, I don't know, a very weak plot point. So the stuff with Gyrick was a little disappointing. However, beyond that, I think for the most part, the show as well as this episode is always never bad. So this is another very good to great episode. But again, it just keeps missing perfection. Like the dialogue is just so clunky in too many scenes. I don't know why. Again, when they do the nostalgia, that is very well done. But there was a moment when Cyclops gets into it with a person. It felt like Black Lives Matter vibes. It just felt really strange. And the same thing with Beast. Beast kind of felt like an outright racist. I was like, huh. I mean, I understand what they're trying to do, but it was a little heavy handed. So the dialogue needs to be more sophisticated. But the final revelation was very, very strong. I would have chosen another villain, but the villain they're going to pick is very interesting. It promises a lot of other twists. So, a lot of points for creativity with the choice of the villain. But the one factor, which is ironic, that where this series is failing is it isn't stretching itself as much as it could have. Like what they took with this one was interesting. These are minor spoilers. So, they're leaning in on the sci-fi edge of the X-Men, and that is fine. That is totally legit. And like I said, it has a very Kubrickian edge to the whole thing, but the payoff I think was not as devastating as it could have been. So overall, great episode, giving it an 8 out of 10, but still some elements they really need to improve upon. But I was very satisfied. I think the season overall will be very, very strong and definitely shows they made the right decision to continue the series and not just wrap up the old stories, but do their own story. However, there are still some clunky moments in the transition period.